Have you ever noticed that your entire life story is made of sentences? I'm this kind of person. This always happens to me. I'm trying to become more spiritual, etc., etc. What if language itself is one of the most powerful forces shaping your reality? And what if that reality is not as solid or as separate as it looks? So today I want to explore something subtle but very radical. How the language centers in the brain participate in creating our world of words and identities. And how, in non-dual wisdom, language is seen as a shimmering appearance in consciousness, Maya and vritti, rather than the source of who you truly are. Let's start in familiar territory, the brain. Neuroscience has identified key regions that light up when we speak, listen, read, or even talk to ourselves. Toward the left side of the frontal lobe, somewhere here, there's a region, or behind here, there's a region called Broca's area. It helps you form sentences, organize grammar, and turn intention into speech and even sign. I remember as a physician seeing patients with strokes where this area was affected, and they had the intention to speak, but the area would not cooperate. In any case, a little further back in the left temporal region is what we call Wernicke's area. It's deeply involved in understanding language, linking sounds or written symbols to meaning. Other regions like the angular gyrus and surrounding areas help integrate visual input, sound, and concepts. They allow a simple mark on a page or a sound in your ear to suddenly become meaningful. Of course, there's no sound in the ear, but that's how we speak in medical language anyway. Sound is in the ear. There's just vibration in the ear. Sound is only in consciousness. Anyway, but here's the key. These brain areas that I just spoke about, they're not isolated boxes for language. They're hubs, part of a dynamic networks that connect sound to movement, movement to meaning, and meaning to memory and emotion. So even at the brain level, language is not just one place. It's a pattern, a coordinated dance. Now, notice how this language system shows up in your everyday life. Most of us live inside a constant stream of inner speech. There's a narrator commenting on everything. In other words, somebody inside you, or so we think, is speaking to themselves all the time, and they never seem to shut up. I shouldn't have said that. She doesn't really understand me. When I finally fix myself, then I'll be okay, etc., etc. Neuroscientists can see that when this inner voice is active, even when you close your eyes, you hear it. Many of the same language regions light up as when you speak out aloud. So the voice in your head is not mysterious. It's language circuitry talking to itself. But here's the deeper point. The inner commentary doesn't just describe your life. It constructs your sense of me in time. It stitches experiences into a story. My childhood, my trauma, my spiritual path. The storyline feels like your identity, but it's made of sentences, constantly updated, edited, and revised. So already we can feel something loosening. If me is largely a narrative built from language, then perhaps I, that which I call I, is not limited to that story. Okay, so far so good. Now let's shift into the non-dual lens. In the wisdom traditions, Maya is the power by which the one undivided reality appears as this diverse, nameable universe. Countless forms, relationships, events. Language is one of Maya's finest instruments. Every time we use a word, we draw a boundary in what is actually seamless. We say I and you, inside and outside, mind and body, sacred and ordinary. The moment the word appears, the world appears divided. As soon as we use a word, the world is divided. Of course, this is incredibly useful. Without language, we couldn't coordinate, teach, or even share what I'm sharing with you right now. But there's a cost. We begin to confuse the labels with reality. We start believing the words as final truth. I am unworthy. I am separate. I am incomplete. In that sense, language is like a spell. Spells are just words, but when believed, they create an entire enchanted reality. Maya uses language to weave, literally weave the matrix. Maya uses language to weave the movie of separation. A world of me in here somewhere, others out there, and something I need to reach in the future. Now, let's go even finer. In Vedanta, all mental activity is described as vritti, a modification or ripple in the inner instrument of mind and intellect. A thought, a memory, an image, a feeling, all these are vrittis. Language is a particular texture of vritti. When a sentence arises, this is good, I failed, I am awareness. There's a structured vritti with a subtle sound or inner hearing. There's a meaning, often a visual or imaginal component. That vritti appears in consciousness also, where else, is known by consciousness and dissolves back into consciousness. So from this perspective, language doesn't produce consciousness. Language is consciousness appearing as a particular pattern, a conceptual wave on the ocean of awareness. And just like waves, these vrittis are impermanent, changing and not separate from the ocean they belong to. Here's where this becomes practical. Because language is vritti, we can do two opposite things. First, it can veil reality. When we take language at face value, we reify. Reify means make solid. We reify separation. I am this body-mind located in here. The world is out there. Enlightenment is something far away. These are all vrittis that seem to describe reality, but actually construct the experience of bondage. So that's what language does. Okay? But there's a second thing that language can do. It can reveal reality. Scriptural teachings, contemplative pointers, mantras especially, very important. And skillful questions are also vrittis, but they are designed to undermine the core misunderstanding. For example, when a Mahavakya says, Tattvamasi, you are that, or Aham Brahmasmi, I am the universe, or Satchitananda, then a particular vritti arises, a thought that points beyond thought. It doesn't add a new object to your experiences. Instead, it removes ignorance about what was always here. So we could say, as Maya, language is the spell that makes separation appear. As a skillful vritti, language is the mantra that dissolves its own spell. Let's bring this from theory into direct experience. Right now, silently say in your mind, I am this body. Notice the felt effect of that sentence. Now, let that thought fade. Pause. Now silently say, I am awareness of this body. Again, notice the felt shift. The body is now something within your field of knowing, not the limit of what you are. Now, let even that sentence fade. Rest as the simplest, wordless knowing to which both thoughts appeared. Both thoughts. I am this body. I am awareness of this body. Thoughts came. Labels came. Even awareness came as a concept. Yet something was continuously present, open, borderless, unhurt by any sentence. That is what you are. Tattvamasi. The brain's language centers are moving. Maya is projecting names and forms. Vrittis are rising and falling. But the ground of all of it, the pure knowing of experience, is not touched. So, is language a creation of consciousness? From a non-dual perspective, yes. Language is how consciousness appears as a world of names and stories. It's Maya's brush painting the illusion of separation, me and the world. And it is a stream of vrittis in the mind that can either bind you to that illusion or guide you gently beyond it. The invitation is not to attack language or make it an enemy, but to see it clearly, to recognize the inner narrator as a movement in you, not the truth of you. To use words as pointers, temporary tools that dissolve back into silence. Because when language relaxes, even for a moment, what remains is not a blank. It is a vivid, awake presence, already whole, already here. Okay, my friends, thanks for watching, and I hope you can share this with others, and thanks for being a member here at the Chopra Well. Tattvamasi.